So I'll get started. We've got a couple of special guests tonight. We've got our general manager, Mike Jacobs, our assistant general manager, Ali McCarty. He's a fellow Scotsman, so that's always a good thing. And we've got an extra special guest. We've got our the first club captain for Nashville Soccer Club MLS, Dax McCarty. Dax is on the call, which we're really excited about. And for all you boys that are listening here, you should be excited as well, because this is an amazing opportunity to get some really cool access to one of the, in the last 12 to 15 years, one of the top MLS players that there's been. I'm going to share a little bit of information about Dax, right? He's played for numerous clubs in the MLS, and some of the absolute big ones: FC Dallas, New York Red Bull, Chicago Fire, most importantly, Nashville Soccer Club, of course. He's got in excess of 350, well in excess of 350 professional games, and he's also been capped by the US men's national team, and his cap tally is in double figures. So what a privilege for not only you boys to get to hear from Dax a little bit, but for us as well as a staff to be able to pick Dax's brain a little bit. So we're going to speak to Dax in a little bit here. Then Mike is going to say a couple of bits, and then we'll jump into a presentation. And like Blake said, we'll get to the questions at the end. So Dax, are you on the call?
I am here, sir.
Hey, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay, man. Doing okay. How are you?
Fantastic. Fantastic for coming on. Really looking forward to this.
Thank you for having me. And let me just say before we start, before you get to some questions for me, I just want to congratulate every academy team in Nashville SC history. It should be a privilege and honor for all of you guys. And so let me just tell you from my perspective, playing in MLS, playing professionally as long as I have, the one thing that I hadn't accomplished in my career that I really was looking forward to was being able to be on an expansion team and to start something from scratch, something that I could really try to put my imprint on and be a part of something special from the very beginning, from the ground up. And the cool thing for all you guys is that you get to do the exact same thing as all of us, just at a little bit of a lower scale in terms of not being a professional yet. But hopefully with the infrastructure and foundation that you will be provided now, it's my wish, and I know all the coaches and everybody else on this, the entire Nashville SC staff on here, it's our entire wish that every single one of you will hopefully represent the club one day. That may not happen, but that is our goal as a club, and that is our wish. So from me to all you guys, my sincere congratulations on being a part of this. Don't take it for granted. I promise you it will be something very special.
Right. Dax, I've got a question for you, and you may have answered this, but if there was one piece of advice that you could give to the boys as they embark on this journey with Nashville Soccer Club, if there was one thing that as you look back on your career that you maybe you did it or you wish you had done it, or something that you knew back then that you know now, what would that be?
Oh boy, that's a great question. For me, the most important thing I think that I've learned on my journey through this not only my professional soccer journey, but my soccer journey in general, is that the only people who truly find success and the only people that I think truly find out how to make the most of their career, the gifts that you have been given, is through perseverance and having high character. I can promise every single person on this call that success and what you deem as success is not linear. It will not go in a straight line. You're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs. And the way that I have been able to maintain a career for as long as I have is through perseverance. I'm not the most talented player that you'll ever watch. I promise you that. But what I lack in talent and what I lack in skill, I make up for in determination and will and perseverance to try to overcome all the obstacles that have been thrown my way. And for all of you guys on this call, and even maybe parents that are watching as well. There will be frustration. There will be a time when you question why it is that you do what you do. Let me tell you a little bit of a story about me and when I learned a lot about myself. I was a young player. I was 17 or 18 years old, and I really wanted to be a part of the under 20 national team that went to the World Cup in Canada. This is way back in 2007. I don't know if most of you were born then, but I was really trying to make I was really trying to make my way, and I was trying out for the qualifying team. So in order to go to the World Cup, you have to qualify. And Thomas Rongen cut me from that qualifying team, and I was one of the last cuts. And he said some things to me that I didn't agree with, and some things that I felt at the time were very harsh. And it was a really, really big frustration and a really big blow in my career. I questioned why I did what I did. Sometimes you think about giving it up. And the only way to forge on is to wake up the next day and know that the sun will rise. You will have another opportunity to prove yourself. Not every coach is going to like you. That's a promise. But one thing I can assure you is that if you have a good attitude, I can promise you that you will persevere. So for me, perseverance has been the key to my career. And I promise you, no one's going to hand anything to you. You're going to have to earn everything that comes your way.
Absolutely. Dax, I think that's amazing information. It's great insight. I think, one of the messages that the boys are going to get from us is that mistakes happen. They happen every single day. And it's not about making mistakes. It's about what you do after you make a mistake. How do you respond from it? And I think that piece that you said about perseverance, and boys, this is a real message for you boys as well, right? Dax he's a seasoned professional, has been for a long, long time. And if we're talking about our club captain who's played in the league, who's played well in excess of 350 professional games, and he's played for some of the biggest clubs, if he's talking about perseverance and he's prepared to show perseverance every single day, then as young kids, you better be prepared to do the same thing. You've got to be prepared to do the same thing. And I can guarantee you, players like Lionel Messi and those guys, same thing. It's no different. It's no different. Dax, that was great, man. We really appreciate it. I could fire off another handful of questions at you, but I know you're a busy man and stuff like that. But really loved having you. It's been a privilege, and we'll make sure we get you for longer the next time. Is that all right?
Yeah, that would be a pleasure. And Jamie, let me just finish off by saying, you can't train too much, in my personal opinion. I think it's when I was growing up, guys. When I was a youngster, and I was trying to train and do the things that I thought were necessary to become a professional player, I only had access to train 2 times per week with my club team, and we trained on a football field, on an American football field, and we shared the field with 3 other teams. So if you can imagine splitting the field up into 4 different quadrants and having to share the field with upwards of 50 other people on that field at the same time, and only being able to do that in an environment twice a week. Think about that for a second and really try to take in the opportunity and the resources that you guys are going to have at your disposal. The training facility is immaculate. It's gorgeous. It's some of the best fields that I've ever played on, as well as a full locker room being built just for you guys. So there should be no excuses coming from anyone in your team about not having the resources, not having the coaching, not having the amount of time to train that you do. I promise you this, if you guys are all on board and you guys say to yourselves, we're going to be a group and I'm going to be a player that doesn't make excuses. I'm just going to be a player that keeps my head down, stays humble, and works hard. I promise you that you will have success. Maybe it won't be in soccer. Maybe it will be in something else in life. Maybe in a few years from now, your dreams will change and you don't want to play soccer and you don't want to have a career in sport. Maybe you want to do something else. But I can promise you that if you live by that ethos and those values, that you will find success and you will be successful. So please don't take what you have for granted. Use all the resources that you have at your disposal, and go kick some butt. I can promise you that you're going to have a good time playing for this club. And I'm going to give my personal email information to Jamie and the rest of the staff on this call. And if any of you guys ever have any questions, if ever any of you guys have any, if you ever just want to have a conversation, if you just want to talk about life, doesn't matter. If you just don't want your coaches knowing, don't worry. I won't say a thing. I promise confidentiality. I want you guys to feel free to reach out to me. My door is always open. My email address will be available to all of you guys if you ever have any questions. So thanks a lot for having me, Jamie. I really appreciate it.
Dax, I'm going to take you up on that offer, I think.
You should.
Now, listen, Dax, that was awesome. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. And again, boys, I hope you've been listening very closely. This is a privilege for you boys to get some amazing insight from a top pro. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Have a good call.
Bye. Okay, Mike, our general manager, Mike Jacobs, our assistant general manager, Ali McCarty, they're on the call. Mike, you want to say anything to our guests that are on the call here?
Sure, that'd be great. Well, first and foremost, I want to welcome all of you to Nashville Soccer Club and, formally congratulate each of you for this historic opportunity to be the very first class of the Nashville Soccer Club Academy. MLS started the Academy Initiative in 2007 with the intention being really simple and clear. Like every other club in the world now, we're expected to develop and grow our own players for our own first team. It's very different from what you all might be used to, having grown up playing soccer here in the United States. And there's some obvious differences. You're now part of a pro player pathway that probably most resembles Major League Baseball in our country. You're now in an MLS system with a clear route into a professional club in MLS. As Dax mentioned, you get to do so at Curry Ingram Academy, at the home of NSC's Academy. Trust me, it's one of the finest facilities in Major League Soccer, and one where nothing else here in Nashville or even the state compares. Where most youth clubs in the United States are playing in tournaments and competing for trophies, where there's still opportunities to do so on occasion, our mission here is to work with these young men on the call and try to position them to pursue their dreams and goals of professional soccer. For those of you who are parents who are on here, your roles are very different. You might be used to in youth soccer. Where in previous setting, you might have been a consumer, paying for your child to play and having a much different role. In this setting, as a member of the National Soccer Club, your child is really going to be treated now like a member of the first team. Your role as a parent really is a conduit, getting the players to and from practice and matches. But really, other than that, there really is no specific role for you other than supporting your children. Their roles in this setting, albeit a youth sport, is much more like yourselves as an employee and a relationship with your own employer. The role of our staff, specifically myself and Ali McCarty, is to work with our academy staff to try to identify the prospects in this group. And again, really clear and transparent, the prospects in this group are the players that we feel potentially track into our first team's professionals. If I could help all of you in the call, maybe similar as Dax gave you some advice, I would tell you a couple of things. One, it's something he stressed, Jamie stressed to you as well. Being a part of a professional academy is a privilege and not a right. At some point in your life, depending what your family life is like, you might inherit a car, a job, money. Please trust you will never inherit an opportunity to play professional soccer, and especially not at National Soccer Club. Don't take what we have for granted and appreciate how special this opportunity is. Please also appreciate the fact that you are always being evaluated and assessed, not only on the field, but how you behave off the field also. Players who make it to the next level are not only good with the ball or a great athlete, but they're also behave professionally. Being professional is less about how much money you make, more about how you conduct your business. Dax mentioned earlier that he referenced that he didn't think he was the most talented player. But I have to tell you, the things that make Dax special, his work rate, his toughness, his ability to compete, those things make him as special a player as we have and the ideal captain to lead our first team out in front of 60,000 fans in Nissan Stadium in our club's first match. Please know that your coaching staff is working with you, as well as myself and Mr. McCarty, are always watching you and how you conduct yourself. Guys, again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you as our next generation of the Boys in Gold.